Have you ever found yourself in a discussion where it feels like you and the other person are speaking entirely different languages, even though you are using the same words? This often happens when we confuse statements about what is true in the world with statements about what should be true. The core distinction between factual and ethical propositions lies in their fundamental purpose and what they assert. Factual propositions describe the world as it is, focusing on observable states of affairs, verifiable events, or logical truths. Ethical propositions, on the other hand, express judgments about value, rightness, or obligation, telling us how things ought to be or what actions we should take. This crucial difference is often referred to in philosophy as the is-ought problem, a concept highlighted by David Hume. He noted the logical gap between descriptive statements, what is, and prescriptive or evaluative statements, what ought to be. You cannot logically derive an ought solely from an is. For example, simply observing that many people eat meat does not logically mean that people ought to eat meat. This distinction is vital because it determines the kind of evidence and reasoning appropriate for evaluating each type of claim. To tell them apart, look at the language used and the nature of the claim being made. Factual statements typically use descriptive terms and can, in principle, be verified or falsified through empirical observation, scientific inquiry, or logical deduction. Ethical statements often contain prescriptive or evaluative language, like good, bad, right, wrong, should, or ought, and reflected moral principles, values, or duties. While factual claims can be supported by evidence like data or scientific findings, ethical claims are supported by moral reasoning, appeals to principles, or consideration of consequences. Understanding this distinction empowers you to analyze arguments more critically, identifying whether someone is presenting data about reality or advocating for a moral stance. When an argument appears to shift from statements of fact to statements of value without explicitly bridging the gap, you have encountered a potential instance of the naturalistic fallacy, an attempt to derive ethical conclusions directly from factual premises alone. Recognizing this helps you challenge unsupported jumps in reasoning. Mastering the ability to differentiate between these two types of propositions is fundamental for robust ethical reasoning. It allows you to build clearer arguments, avoid common fallacies, and engage more constructively in discussions about complex moral issues, ensuring that your conclusions are grounded in appropriate evidence and sound reasoning, whether factual or ethical.